Good morning and welcome to the Trader Planet Pre-Market Open Trade Review. Today is Wednesday, July 7th. We're so glad you could join us today. This is Darla Tuttle, your host for today's session, with Greg Firman, a market analyst for TraderPlanet.com. Today's webcast takes place at a specific date and time, and therefore any opinions given by our presenter may change without notice at any time. Please be aware that trading involves substantial risk of loss and therefore may not be suitable for all investors, and past performance is not indicative of future results. This live webcast is being recorded and will be posted on Trader Planet, so you will be able to review the material at a later time. You will also find previously recorded webinars among our other free educational resources within our site at www.TraderPlanet.com. As one of our foremost Forex educators, Greg Firman is a professional trader and commodity trade advisor that has worked in the stocks, futures, commodity, and currency markets for the last 10 years. Greg is Series 3 Commodities Futures licensed and registered with the NFA and has clients that include individual traders and fund managers from around the world. We're pleased to have him with us today. Let's give a warm welcome to Greg Firman.
Thank you, Darla, for that warm welcome, and I want to take the time to welcome everybody and thank everyone for coming out this morning. Now, what we're going to be doing this morning is we're going to be looking at live trades in the foreign exchange market. We're also going to touch base on essentially the equity markets and the commodities markets and a number of different currency futures. Now, I think it's very important to look at all these things, not just look at single market analysis. So if anybody's reviewed my Forex Weekly Outlook, we're going to start this presentation with the US dollar index futures contracts. Now, what I see happening here is I see a potential major break on the US dollar index. Now, I've talked about this in the Forex Weekly Outlook. I've actually broken it down by currency futures, strength-wise, looking at the Euro US, or the Euro by itself, I should say, the pound, the CAD, the Swiss franc. All of these things are playing a part in what's happening with the US dollar right now. And in my opinion, it's going to likely come under further pressure. Now, we may see a slight retracement, but I question how deep that retracement is going to be. Now, looking at the US dollar index, the only point of concern to me right now is the true strength indicator from Vantage Point. We're hitting oversold levels. This could force a bounce. Now, I'm not too worried at this particular time as long as the equities and the commodities hold their gains. Now, what we're going to do quickly here is we're going to pull up the FXCM trading platform. A couple of trades, the two trades that I've recommended for today have been executed. They've come on here. We can see the Euro US trade. We have a 50K trade that's been opened at 125.66. That was opened at 8:16 this morning. The Great Britain US long that I had recommended for today at 150.93. This was executed at 3:18 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can actually see that I wasn't, I don't know about the rest of you, but I was sleeping when this trade was actually triggered. It's up 57 pips for a profit of $232 based on just a small 40K trade. Now the 40K trade you can see is actually below the capital, the equity amount that I have in my account. There's about 53,052.7 in the account. Now I've actually taken a position smaller than the amount of equity available to me. Now, what I want to touch base on is the previous trades from our last webinar, from our last pre-market open. These trades are actually still in place. We can see that the Great Britain US longs that I originally recommended at the 144.85 level, we can see that that's up 661 pips for a profit of $2,649. The other recommended 146.18 area, that's up 528 pips. And the Great Britain US at 147.30 is up 417 pips. Now, to point everybody out here, these trades are in, excuse me, in theory, these trades, I don't have multiple positions running that are over leveraged because as you can see, hopefully everybody can see this okay, my stop is at 149.40 on each one of these trades. We can see that the stop is actually inside the entry point. So I've locked in a considerable amount of profit on each one of these trades. Now I will get into this into the live trade review here, why I haven't closed these trades out. Now, this could be suggested that I'm swing trading. It could be suggested, that I'm holding out for a longer thing. But the reality is, I've received a buy signal from Vantage Point on the software, and I'm yet to receive a reason to close these positions. However, I am, in case of volatile markets, anything could happen. I've made sure that I have locked in these trades. So now this allows me to move on to something else. Now, point of interest here is that I've actually moved on to more Great Britain US. This was a recommended trade. We can see here that I've, hopefully everybody can see this okay. I've entered this one this morning, 3:18 a.m. at 150.93. The market currently trading at 150, 151. So I could trade a number of different currencies, but in reality right now, I have some very good opportunities, so I'm following up with that. Now, what I'm watching today here, I'm watching the price of crude oil. We can see that. We can see the S&P 500. So I'm keeping a very close eye on the equity markets and the commodity markets that I think are going to affect the pairs that I'm trading. So again, this trade here is up 54 pips, which is $215 on the newest position, and the Euro US is up 19.2 pips for a profit of $100. Now, I could technically close these out right now, and it's been a successful trading day. If you're making $300 on a $53,000 account, that's actually a pretty nice little profit for a few hours work. So, but again, I'm looking for a leading indicator from Vantage Point to tell me to exit these positions, and when it does, I'll do that. But for now, I see further upside potential. However, we have to keep a very close eye on the commodities markets and the equity markets. So now that we've done that, we're going to go back in, we've reviewed what the market's currently trading at, so we're going to keep an eye on that throughout the presentation. I fully expect Euro US to move lower, but I'll get into that into the presentation. I'm not opposed to adding another position on a move lower, providing I'm staying with the overall trend and the overall signal as I used to identify from Vantage Point. Now, again, looking at this US dollar index, we've had a significant failure at this 89 level. Now, currencies that are directly affected with the US dollar index are, of course, the Euro US, 57%. We've got the Great Britain US, that's about 11 or 19%, somewhere in there. The CAD, again, 3 to 7%. Where all of these currencies that make up this index can be affected. Now, the yen is another big one that affects the US dollar index. However, the yen is a very funny currency to trade. You have to be very, very cautious of that. So looking at the dollar yen, let's have a quick peek and see what's going on with that and see if we actually may have some opportunity there too. We can see that we've hit 87.01. We've had significant support in that area. We're currently trading at 87.23. My position on this, for your more aggressive traders that want to get into these trades early, I believe it to be heavily oversold, and we are likely to see a bounce on this very, very soon. The Japanese, US-Japan has been trading in between 87 and 88 for about a week now, and that is a huge warning sign for me that it's struggling at this level. And what can happen with the dollar yen is that it can make an aggressive move higher in literally a blink of an eye. So I'm watching these equities, and the correlation between the yen and the equities is still very high. If the equities can recover, so will the dollar yen. So again, what we're going to do is we're quickly doing a quick run through here of everything we're looking at and what's going on in the market. So right now we can see with the US dollar index, our predicted medium and long